doubt has an extraordinarily important thing. Skepticism. To observe every experience that one has, doubt that very experience, doubt that very thought, doubt that very feeling. So the brain becomes extraordinarily cleansed of all our accumulated experiences, tradition, and so on. This is what we are going to do during all these talks. This is no personal or personality cult. Please understand this. We all want to cling or worship or feel near someone, person. We are accustomed to that. And we are saying this is not a personality cult at all. So please don't build an image about him, the speaker. The speaker is not very valuable. What is valuable, what has significance, is what he is saying. And to understand what he is saying, you must question. Not accept a thing. Which means you have to observe, one has to observe one's own reactions, one's own attitudes, justifications, defenses, and so on. Then it's possible for both of us to communicate with each other. Not theoretically, not in abstraction, but actually. Because we're going to take a very long journey together. No detours at all. We're going together watch this whole phenomenon of life, of which we are. And also please bear in mind that this is not an entertainment. Because we are used to being entertained. It's our habit. Cinema, television, books, novels. We want to be entertained. And religions have become that too, a form of entertainment. So please bear in mind throughout these talks that this is not in any way entertainment. The speaker is not trying to help you. Please bear that in mind very seriously. Because if he is out to help you, then he becomes the leader. A man who then conducts you, tells you what to do, and so on. So, this is not entertainment, nor an intellectual feast, because we must use our intellect. It's part of our daily life. It's part of our biological construction. But those of us rather neglect the intellectual capacity and treat the whole thing as a kind of romantic, theoretical activity. So the speaker is not helping you. But we are together, if you will, think, observe, feel the whole extraordinary, complex phenomenon of daily living. Please be serious about this, that the speaker is in no way your guide or the abomination of a guru. That means then you become merely a follower. And generally, the followers destroy that which is true. So we are going together, think. And that's one of the most difficult things to do, because each one of us have opinions, very strong opinions, very strong conclusions, bias, prejudices, conditioned according to our particular pleasure or experience. So one becomes isolated, and thinking together becomes almost impossible. We do not know, we have not noticed this. Even between the wife and a husband, girl and a boyfriend, and so on, they can never think together, observe together the same thing, the same reaction, the same intensity, at the same time. But there is always this division. I think, you think, it's my opinion, my judgment, and so on. So please first see how difficult it is and arduous, requires great attention to think together. Because thinking is very important in our life. All our action is based on thinking. And now, as each one of us feels separate, individualistic, with his own gods, with his own experiences, with his own prejudices, and so on, and thinking together. If we could do that, it would be a marvelous thing. If one could put aside, at least for this hour, put aside our prejudices, our opinions, our tendencies, idiosyncrasies, and observe not according to your observation or my observation, but to observe the mountains together, the beauty, the majesty of those hills, the splendor of sunshine, the running waters, the extraordinary glory of the earth together. And our difficulty is also that we are caught in words. You have a certain meaning to words, or the speaker has a certain meaning to words. And we use the words to communicate, which we must. But also, if one can realize, our brain is caught, trapped, captured in words. I wonder if one realizes that. Our words have become extraordinarily important. And so it becomes very superficial. When we are constantly using words which have become a slogan, repetitive, mechanical. I'm British, I'm French, I'm German, and so on. But to go much deeper than beyond and above the words requires an extraordinary alertness, not to be trapped by words. And then only it is possible to think together.